Councilwoman Campbell.
Present.
Councilwoman Iguodaro. Councilwoman Wilson. Councilwoman Julian. Councilman Stevens.
Here.
Vice Mayor Leon.
Here.
Mayor Harris.
And I'm present.
You have a quorum.
All right, please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
God our Father, we thank you for your grace and mercy towards us. We thank you for your many blessings. God, we thank you for being a great God to us. Father, we pray now that you continue to reign on this city that we call Miami Gardens. Continue to give us your knowledge, your wisdom, and your understanding as we discuss business that affect your people. Father, we pray your many blessings, and all these things we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ's name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, we was on sequence then. All right, we're on approval of minutes. Mr. Clerk.
We have before the council the May 26, 2021 minutes. They were emailed to council and copies are on the dais for your review.
I need a motion on the approval of the
Make a
minutes.
motion on the approval of the minutes.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. No opposed, show that the minutes are approved. We're on order of business. Are there any items that need to be pulled or added? No, showing no items need to be pulled or added. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye to adopt the minutes. I mean, not the minutes, but the agenda. Any opposed? No oppositions? Show the agenda approved. It's a rough day, boy. We've been here a long time. All right. What are we on? Public comments?
We're actually on special presentations.
Special presentations, and it's by me.
Item 6.1, special presentation by Mayor Rodney Harris.
Now I know about this one. Which ones are we doing first? You guys, I got two presentations. The first one, okay. I'm gonna give us a few minutes to grab the kids and bring them in. I think I can go ahead and start without the kids, but when they come in, this group is called the Aspen Group, and they are the Progressors Over Poverty. They're a group of students from Miami Norland Senior High School. They participate in the Aspen Challenge, which provides inspirational tools and platforms for young people to design solutions to some of the most critical problems that they have in humanity, that humanity faces. And this group was created, the POP organization was put together to focus on empowering the community through love, connecting those in need with resources, and increasing financial literacy to young people. So I wanted to honor them tonight with a proclamation and several certificates for the work that they do in this community. So whenever they come in, they come in. And you guys could come right up here, because we already explained a little bit about what you guys do. No, they can come up. We're gonna take a picture right quick. I'm gonna present you guys with the proclamation. I already spoke about what you guys are doing. And we have the principal of Miami Norland along with the founder of Pop. Not the founder? They are the founders, they created it.
Oh,
Coaches.
wow.
All right.
Hey.
Brother Red. So you guys can come up. We'll take a picture right quick. I'm gonna present you all with these certificates and this plaque. And this. Yeah. Council, you guys.
Sure.
Thank you guys for all this that you guys provide to this community. And one of you want to go up to the podium and speak and say what you need, what you need.
Watch that. Watch that.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Renisha Myers. I'm one of the co-captains of Progressives Over Poverty, or POP for short. We were gathered to a call of community empowerment by the Aspen Challenge, which provides inspiration, tools, and a platform for young people to design solutions to some of the most crucial problems that humanity faces. We as students accepted the challenge to connect families to resources to help them achieve economic stability and break the cycle of poverty. We started an initiative called Progressives Over Poverty, which is a student-led organization focusing on empowering the community through love, connecting those in need with resources, and increasing financial literacy. Thank you for having us.
Again, thank you guys for all the work you do in this community. We appreciate
Yeah.
it. It's just a small token of our appreciation. You guys, there's a refreshments in the community room. Thank you again.
Take your time. Sure.
Got one more presentation for another one of our young groups. Now, this group of young people are from Miami Norland Senior High School and Miami Carroll City Senior High School. Maybe a month ago, there was a I Am Ministries Black Heritage Bowl that took place at Florida Memorial University. And these young people participated in the event. And what we wanted to do was, when we found out about it, we wanted to make sure that they were recognized. And they talked me into it. Some of these young people from Carol City Senior High School, they talked me into it, and I told them that we would be glad to help sponsor the not just the winning team, but we wanted all of the kids to have some type of financial asset. So we gave each one of the kids $100. So, Ms. Dawson, if you want to come up and say anything.
I am so pleased to be able to just say a word to you. I am Brenda Dawson, the president of I Am Ministries of Miami-Dade Broward, and we work in the city of Miami Gardens, have been there in the schools for about 8 to 10 years. We work with young ladies predominantly, but this year we decided to spread our services to high school. So we started our first Black Heritage Bowl, and it's because we want to reinvigorate the knowledge of who we are in our community. We went to school at North Dade when it was a high school, and I remember the life we had and the knowledge, and I want to see it again. I want to give it back. So that's what we did. Miami Norland and Miami Carol City Senior competed. The winning team, each person received $500. And our mayor said, well, what about the people that just participated? And they have to receive something. And so he also decided to contribute to this cause. And I really am proud of these young people. I know they're going to be great young people in this community. And you know what? They know more
Yeah.
than I ever knew. So thank you again. We do have the checks. We are working together. So I Am Ministries is presenting the $100 checks to each of these students that was donated to this ministry by the city of Miami Gardens. And I thank you so much.
All right, next item is item 6.2, special presentation by Councilwoman Shannon Campbell.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm going to be brief as possible. As we all are aware, Father's Day is fastly approaching us. And as I recognize the women in the month of March, for Women's History Month, I wanted to recognize the men who are fathers that exemplify something positive for the city of Miami Gardens. You know, an involved father promotes inner growth and strength in their offspring. So I wanted to recognize Assistant Chief Joseph Nargiso, Deputy Chief Ricky Carter, Deputy City Manager Craig Clay, our City Manager Cameron Benson, and my colleagues on the dais, Mayor Rodney Harris, and Vice Mayor Reginald Leon. So I would appreciate it greatly if you guys would join me. I have something special for you in a little gift bag, and then I'll ask my colleagues to join in another photo op, please. Oh, Mario, I'm sorry. And Mario Bataille as well, the city clerk. Yes, I'm sorry.
Say,
All right, Mr. Mayor, the next presentation is item 6.3, 2021 Florida Legislative Session Update.
Mr. Manager?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'm going to call on Yolanda Cass Jackson, the city lobbyist, to give a brief update on this past legislative session.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, city manager. I just always get so excited when it's time to come to Miami Gardens. I think it's the first time that all of you have been here. We're post-COVID, and I'm just so excited for what I see, and congratulations to you all. I can't say you're my favorite city because then other people will be mad.
But we understand.
Yes. So I count it such an honor, really, to represent you and to just tell you that I know Senator Jones in his absence, Representative Robinson, Representative Benjamin, and I think Representative Bush has a little bit of Miami Gardens as well, that under very, very difficult circumstances, they represented the city and they represented the city well. I would be remiss if I didn't introduce LaToya Shields, who's also an attorney in the Becker office and works with me in Tallahassee and keeps me grounded and keeps you full of information. So, but without prolonging, money was very scarce at the beginning, and then thank you to President Biden and the Washington D.C. crew, they made sure that there was some COVID dollars that came through the American Rescue Plan. And so we did, we were able to bring some dollars back, mainly SHIP dollars for the State Housing Initiative Partnership Program to the tune of $1,020. And we are really very, very excited, $1,020,195. And as you know, the governor signed the budget last week. And so those SHIP dollars did survive the veto. Then we also do some federal work for you. And just on today, actually, as an amendment to 3684, investing in a new vision for the environment and surface transportation in American Act. The following dollars were marked up. So it's not final yet, but we're very, very hopeful that this should pass. So alleyways drainage improvement project of $244,000. 183rd to 191st Street, 27th Avenue, $1,200,000. 187th Street to 199th Street, Sunshine Parkway, $960,000. 191st to 199th, 2nd Avenue to 7th Avenue roadway, $600,000. And then 199th to 202nd, Northwest 3rd and 15th, sidewalk improvement project, $960. And we actually, you want to share those with the clerks? We have it written down for you, but certainly want to thank Congresswoman Wilson and her team for making sure that you are in the budget, and as we wait for a final passage. There were some substantive issues, just very quickly, that I'll go through. All of us have heard about HB1, and I won't prolong that. I think Senator Jones has talked about that. And then, of course, the voting rights bill, also two pieces of legislation that were very disturbing to many. And but that has been passed and signed by the governor. There were some other substantive issues. I won't go into detail, but the word of the session was preemption. And if you all are involved with the League of Cities, as I know many of you are, preemption was a big, big, bad word for municipalities. But I'm pleased to say that although we didn't get everything we wanted, we beat back some really bad legislation. We have those detailed in report for you. If you have specific questions, we'll be glad to answer them. But there was preemptions on local occupational licensing, public works projects, home-based businesses. And like I said, some of those have not yet been signed by the governor, but we did put a summary in our packet for you. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'll entertain any questions that anyone would have.
Any questions from the desk? No, thank you, Ms. Jackson, for all the work that you do for us, and we appreciate you. And maybe next year we'll get some more money.
Well, $1 million not a bad start.
Not bad, not a bad day. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
can I just ask one question?
go ahead, Mr. Mann.
Yolanda, has the home-based bill been passed? I mean, been signed by the governor?
Not yet.
The only reason, okay, all right, good enough, thank you.
No, not yet. Yes, LaToya, why don't you come? She's been following that very closely.
Ms. Jackson, hold on one second. Our Vice Mayor had a question.
Ms. Jackson, thank you for all your hard work that you've put in with securing these COVID vaccines for our community behind the scenes. So I just want to publicly thank you for that.
Thank you. And thank you to the council for being vigilant about making sure that the citizens of Miami Gardens got vaccinated, because it was your hard work. Even when they said no, you kept it going, and we had some vaccination sites. Just real briefly, if I can, those vaccination sites are now out of the emergency management and now into the Department of Health. And they know that Miami Gardens is important, that Miami Gardens folks are still being vaccinated. we're trying to hold on as long as we can to make sure that happens, but it was your hard work that made sure that those citizens were taken care of.
Really quickly to answer the city manager's question, when I state on your document that the information is awaiting presentation to the governor for his review and signature, the presiding officers have to present it to him, and then they'll give a date as to when he has to actually sign it, whether it's usually about 15 days out. Most of the information on your memo has not been submitted to him yet. I know the home-based businesses is something that many of the municipalities are looking to see what is going to happen with that. It has not reached his desk, and that was as of yesterday. Okay. So that's the update.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
the only reason why I'm asking that question is that we have an item on tonight regarding home-based businesses. And so that was my concern.
Okay. So is that an item that we may need to pull off, or?
The only thing about that, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance is tied to another, it's tied to our workforce housing initiative.
Suggestion.
Madam Attorney?
We can keep it on for first reading. It's not law until second reading. If he doesn't sign it between now and then, we can pull it next time.
Okay. So
Good.
that's
I
what
just
we'll do.
wanted to bring, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to bring that to everyone's. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
But, Mr. Mayor, it was mentioned that it's tied to the workforce housing that's on the agenda as well. So I'm just curious, although the workforce housing that it's tied to, that won't come back to us as second reading, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I heard you correctly.
No. The item that's on the agenda regarding home-based business.
Right.
That is what's coming back before us for second reading, correct?
No, both, there, it's tied in because we're doing amendments to the LDRs.
Okay.
So what I'm suggesting is he may sign it between now and second reading. If he does, we go forward because we have to amend our code as it relates to home-based business. If he doesn't, I've suggested to the manager that he bring an amended ordinance for your consideration on second reading that only deals with the workforce housing so that we don't kill that part of it.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank
Uh-huh.
you. You wanted to say something?
You wanted to? And this is which item is that? That's item
1.1 is it's ordinance on first reading.
and the councilwoman just expressed to me that she would like to have the opportunity to discuss 11.3. So can we go back and have her to pull 11.3?
They approved the consent already.
Somebody on the prevailing side of the motion to approve the consent agenda would have to do a motion to reconsider.
I need a motion on that item, if anyone.
Motion.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded, so we can have that item pulled.
You need to vote on the motion.
Okay,
sir.
let's vote on this motion. Y'all in favor for pulling this item and having it heard by the councilwoman? Signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Show it pulled, show the agenda amended. Huh? Excuse me. Yeah. Thank you guys again.
All right, Mr. Mayor, we're on public comments. We do have public comments today. We have 3 individuals in person and we have some through Zoom. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the in-person public comments.
All right, I have 3 cards here. Excuse me. Miss Brenda Providence. Ms. Providence, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. Brenda Providence, 2021 Northwest 154th Street in the great city of Miami Gardens. Speaking today on behalf of some of the citizens in Miami Gardens on some of the items up tonight. We are excited, Mayor, that you are reestablishing the City of Miami Gardens citizens, what do you call it, the review?
Citizens Academy.
We're excited about that. We are interested in your selection process. I'm sure it's going to be fair and honest. We are wondering why you're limiting it to 20 people. Due to the climate of the city right now, we are more engaged now than we have been in a while. So please reconsider and increase that amount, because for once, for a change, we have people engaged. They're excited about politics, and we'd like for you to reconsider adding additional members to that. The interlocal agreement 11.2 with Dade County. We know that the traffic studies have already been done in most of the areas, and we're wondering what is the process now to move forward and get it on the budget so that we can get some speed bumps and everything else that we need to slow down some of the speeding in the area. So we're watching out for that. 11.3, Vice Mayor Reggie Leon, we're excited about your beautification program. Coming up 22nd Avenue, if you go between 22nd and 17th and look on the north side of the street, looks like everybody over there painted their house, and it's beautiful. And if we can get the whole city to look like that, it would be awesome. So we want to know, what is your plan? Is this a citywide program? What's the criteria and the selection process? And we're hoping that a lot of elderly folks can get their homes painted. 11.12, the resolution workforce with the city of Miami. We're glad that that subject is coming up because there are a lot of folks that work in Miami Gardens that can't find affordable housing because they either are not, they can't pay the high price of rent, or they don't qualify for the subsidized rent. So we're glad that you guys are looking into that so that some people can afford, some young people can afford to live in our great city of Miami Gardens. That's it.
Thank you,
Night.
Ms. Providence. Nathan Price.
Good evening. My name is Nathan Price, 21205 Northwest 14th Place, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33169. I'm just here today just to speak with you on an incident that happened to my mother-in-law and father-in-law. Make a long story short, they were scammed by roofers and contractors here in this city. That particular contractor pulled a permit from the city of Miami Gardens. We're currently investigating. This happened, months ago, 3-4 months ago. I just found out last week. So as soon as me and my wife got on the case, we found out all the information out, who this guy is. We got the information, felony arrest information from Surfside Police. And so we're pursuing it. So since a permit was pulled with the city of Miami Gardens, we came up to the city of Miami Gardens to find out what's going on. So, I deal with the city, have relationships with the city. But my point is, I'm hoping that the department heads and the council can no other way. Look, these guys, the city, the employees that work here, that I deal with sometimes, they have to stop giving legal counsel, talking about it's a civil case, it's this, that. I don't want to hear that. You know, we took down big developers in the city. So what I'm saying, just please make sure that the departments, zoning, planning, building, whatever it is, public works, make sure that they're able to give the information that the residents need so that they can file civil cases against those perpetrators that are coming into the city, taking advantage of the residents. Okay. And so just in conclusion, because I know we don't have a lot of time, my wife is going to come up with a little bit more information. But I just want to say, you know, when we worked with the City of Miami Gardens, we worked with Tom Ruiz, Public Works. Great. I don't know if Tom is in here, but great. I mean, we did a beautification project in Majorca Isles. Tom was, you know, he helped us out. When they had Peru gang signs on a gas station on 183rd and 22nd Avenue on the side of the building. At the time, I sent an email to the mayor, Oliver Gilbert. He sent an email to the police chief, a lovely police chief. The woman, I'm glad we got a woman police chief. She's making things happen. Before you know it, the gang signs were gone, taken off the building. Okay, they went in there and they talked, because I got nephews, I got kids. We don't want gang signs on buildings. Okay, I talked to the owner, he didn't understand English. Okay, but Miami Gardens got that done. So what I'm saying is, I'm hoping to get a meeting with the building department. We got a meeting with the building department tomorrow at 4:15. The department head, my wife's going to meet with him. So we'll hash out the specifics of what we'd like to see as far as the building permit process, the ABC, because I think it needs to be a little bit more thorough, because it's thorough when we go in there and ask for information. They follow the rules then, but when the contractors come in, anybody off the street, anybody can do that. Okay. Okay. And so I would just like to get a meeting with the city manager. Okay, with the city manager, and just go over some of those things with him. Just more friendly for the residents. I'm being honest. I think the city needs to be more friendly to the residents. Surveys, just community feedback and those things. Now, I did hear in the previous meeting that you guys are starting the Citizens Academy again or something like that. So those are the things that the buy-in from the residents, and that's all I'm asking for.
Okay, Mr. Price, we'll make sure someone get back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks.
Mr. Merrill Price?
Yes, good morning. Good afternoon. I'm Tamara Price. My address is 21205 Northwest 14th, Unit 419, Miami Gardens, Florida 33169. This is actually a part two to what my husband indicated before, because as he indicated, we do have an issue with my parents who was actually scammed with the contract. My thing is that there are a lot of inconsistencies, and when I meet with Mr. Diaz tomorrow, we're going to go through them one by one. But I just want to actually point out there's a permit application for a contractor. Okay, this contractor name is listed on there. That's indicated that he was supposed to pick up the permit. This is not the person that started the roof work for my parents. Okay, on top of that, you have this contractor who they indicate it's on the permit application. It says they're authorized to pick this up. There's two different permit applications, and neither one of these gentlemen picked up the permit for my mom's house. Okay, that's another thing. Then the person who was authorized to pick up the permit was not given to that person, was given to someone else that is not affiliated with the contractor. The contractor that is listed on the actual permit, I sent an email to him. He indicated that he did not authorized for the permit. So there's a lot of inconsistencies that's going on at this particular time. My mom has been living in the community for 50 years. So yes, of course, their homes are older. They don't understand the whole permit process. That information is not on the website. It just goes on to about the permit applications and what to do and how to do it. But it doesn't really speak to how the process really works, who need to come in with the inspectors, things of that sort. So of course, they were scammed. So money has been issued to this particular person. I do understand that this particular this contract
contractor that is listed on the permit is, I guess, reputable, but that doesn't mean anything to me. He's indicating, and I sent that email to Mr. Diaz to indicate what he said, that he did not pull the permit. Okay, so he did not pull the permit. So now we're stuck in this particular case because now we have a permit out there with no roof that's done.
All right, Ms. Price, that was your time, and we'll have some people at your meeting tomorrow that'll help address those issues.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Clerk, anyone else on?
Now we're going to the Zoom public comments. The first one up is Gail Cunningham.
Ms. Cunningham?
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Gail Cunningham, 19001 Northwest 14th Avenue Road, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33169. Good evening again to all public servants on the dais and all public servants in the chambers. The opportunity to be heard in a professional decorum with respect, being listened to, responded to, ideas constructively debated, and proactive discussion with constituents is vital. The gravity of the actions and exposition of positive behavior results in a wholesome, positive response to which can be achieved a city working with its constituents, those people who have indebted to you, the public servants, the opportunity to be representatives of our voices. We are Miami Gardens. We are watching, researching, listening, acting in order to keep our city moving in a positive direction. I have an idea for all of our public servants. When you are conducting an event or you're proposing an item that may have monetary value or donations, take this into consideration, as they do in most campaigns on the national and state level and local level. At the end of that event or that program, if you could have the little inscription saying, paid for by taxpayers of the Miami-Dade County, even if it's donations, somebody worked for it, paid taxes for it to happen, because a lot of your constituents believe there's a pot of gold somewhere that you all are digging money out of, and everything, they hear the word free, they take it literal. Free. It is not free. You're paying for it with your tax monies. I'm paying for it with my tax monies. So let them know taxpayers are the ones responsible for what's happening when it comes to monetary in the city of Miami Gardens. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham.
The next speaker is Rhea Hughes.
Ms. Hughes?
Good evening, public servants. My name is Rhea Hughes. The address 3335 Northwest 180th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056. Reference consent agenda item 11.2, interlocal agreement. During research and discussion before being proposed for approval, has it been determined if the item will be an additional cost to the taxpayers today or in the future? Has any monies been allocated for the interlocal agreement? Will completed, documented, recorded traffic studies be grandfathered into the interlocal agreement? Will there be a time limitation to when the city will accept and act on an approved traffic study in accordance with the interlocal agreement if approved? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes.
All right, Mr. Mayor, and then I have one written communication. This is from Oscar Brainin the First, 1701 Northwest 191st Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056. I'm sincerely happy to see this item 11.2 on the agenda for consideration. I've been attempting to have the county place traffic calming devices for the past 5+ years. Their response has been a monumental failure. Stop signs are not honored by a large portion of my own neighbors and visitors. Speed advisors have only turned into high-speed indicators for drag racers and muscle cars. Painted intersections are only for the street artists. I hope that the city is proactive in solving the problems of speeders, donut racers, and general reckless drivers. Some of the requirements and solutions in this agreement do not apply to a new set of drivers. Drivers who will conduct a 2-minute smoke-filled burnout in a residential neighborhood, not only stopping oncoming traffic, but endangering passing pedestrians, even children. We must address this problem of our community with a real, viable solution that are often not in the book. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I look forward to our success. And those are all the public comments for this evening, Mayor.
There's no more public comments?
No, sir.
Public comments are now closed.
All right. There are no items for ordinances on for first reading, no ordinances on for second reading, no resolutions, public hearing. We're on to the consent agenda. Item 11.1, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, reestablishing the City of Miami Gardens Citizens Academy, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and is sponsored by Mayor Rodney Harris. Item 11.2, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city clerk to execute and test respectively that certain interlocal agreement with Miami-Dade County to assume certain traffic control and engineering services, including the installation and maintenance of traffic calming devices pertaining to its local municipal street, a copy of which is attached here to as Exhibit A, provided for instructions to the city clerk, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Mayor Rodney Harris. Item 11.4, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, recognizing the month of June as Caribbean American Heritage Month during the month of June 2021, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. Item 11.5, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, approving additional funding to the Miami Gardens Small Business Initiative Program, MGSBIP in paren, to aid small businesses, authorizing the city manager to execute any and all documents required by this grant process, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. Item 11.6, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, recognizing June 10, 2021 as Scott Lake Elementary end of the year school community activity and waiving fee usage for the use of the showmobile, providing for instructions to the city manager, providing for the adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Katrina Wilson. Item 11.7, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, awarding a bid to Bajar Construction, Inc. for construction services related to the overall improvement to the Andover Park in response to request for proposal number 20-21-007, authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute an agreement for this purpose, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.8, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, approving the issuance of a purchase order to Playmore Recreational Products and Services in the amount of $379,840.60 for the purchase and installation of an inclusion sensory playground at Andover Park by relying upon the Sourcewell National Joint Power Alliance (NJPA) in paren, contract number 030117, in accordance with the bond implementation plan using general obligation bond funds. Authorize city manager to execute and the purchase and installation of the playground equipment with Playmore Recreational Products and Services, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.9, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorize the city manager to approve purchase order not to exceed $240,000 per year to Pavement Technology, Inc. by relying on the terms and conditions of the City of Margate bid number 2019-009, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.10, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, agreeing to become responsible for the Vista Largo Multipurpose Maintenance Special Taxing District North and remain dormant if any association and community development district CDD in paren fails to provide the required maintenance service, provide for the instruction, provide for the adoption representation, provide for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.11, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, agreeing to become responsible for the Vista Largo Multipurpose Maintenance Special Tasking District South if any association and or community development district CDD in paren fails to provide the required maintenance, provided for instruction, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.2, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, supporting workforce housing in the City of Miami Gardens in accordance with the report attached here to as Exhibit A, supporting the incorporation of workforce housing as an eligible activity for increased density bonuses within the city's land development regulation, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager, and that is your consent agenda.
Need a motion on the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There's no opposition. Show the consent agenda pass.
All right, we're now to item 11.3, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing the city manager to establish a program to provide beautification services to residents over the age of 55, provided for adoption representation, provided for effective date, and it's sponsored by Vice Mayor Leon.
This item was pulled by Councilwoman Wilson. Councilwoman Wilson.
Yes, I think that this is a very important item, I think that this is a very important item. And it is an important item because as I've driven through, and you guys know I ride the city quite a bit, there are a lot of seniors in our community that are having hardships. I've had extensive conversations with the deputy city manager regarding roofs, windows, air conditioning, and things of that nature that once you've lived in a home for 30 or 40 years, they're very, very serious expenses that sometimes our seniors are faced with having to replace. And so he and I have had extensive conversations about alternatives to be able to help them. But also sometimes just the cosmetic things like getting your lawn cut and being able to clean and cut back the shrubbery in your home and things of that nature also lend itself to a feeling of being safe, you know? And they can be very, very costly as well. And when when our seniors don't have someone or there's not a mechanism in place to navigate the cost, they can be overcharged and beaten out of a lot of money just with having a tree cut back. So by way of this, I guess what I'm trying to say is we have to be able to find a uniform practice or a resource or provide a resource. And I think we talked about the flyer, where you have a lot of small businesses right here in Miami Gardens, men who are cutting yards, who are able to go in and cut someone's yard for a standard fee, that our seniors should be able to engage in and know that they're not going to be cheated or shystered out of their money. You know what I'm saying? And I think that even when we go further, we have a lot of seniors that are women, who may not know the going rate of what it takes to pressure wash a sidewalk. Or as one of my residents, she had a hole in the front of her yard and the gentleman charged her $150 to fill a hole with rocks. And then she was robbed. And so I guess this item triggered for me that we not only need workforce housing for our youth, but we need to care for our elderly citizens. And those people have, to a large extent, been responsible for the building of this city. And it is a responsibility for us to be able to do that. So when I look at this, I thank you, Vice Mayor, for your consideration in proffering this item. The question to me is, how much does it really help us? And is there more that we can put in place so that these people who are living in houses that they can't do, as Brenda was saying, when you ride down the street, there is an improvement. There is a way that we can really see how our streets are becoming more beautiful. And so here's what I'm going to ask the city manager. Is there a way that we could take a look at this here and expand it in such a way that these residents, as they, like when they want to pressure wash, we have that program set into place? This is not necessarily leading to a program. It's just an initiative, right?
Mr. Manager.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Manager.
If Councilwoman's, I can answer here.
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Councilwoman, and thank you, Vice Mayor, for sponsoring the item. And yes, there are other opportunities that we will be bringing forward to council for approval to move forward with some of the things that you just talked about. I've had the chance to talk to council members about senior living, things that we need to do to try to improve their facilities, where they live, where they work, where they enjoy themselves. But in particular, we've talked more and more about their homes and what types of things that we can do to improve those things for them. So we will have an item coming forward, either the next meeting or the meeting after that. I've had the chance to talk to Councilman Stevens, Councilwoman Igodaro, the Vice Mayor, everyone on the dais about what can we do to improve the living conditions for our seniors. We do have an item that we're going to be bringing forward. I think this initiative is a good initiative to get started, but this item that we're going to be bringing forward is going to be more comprehensive.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
You good? You okay?
Yes, sir.
And
Vice Mayor.
Councilwoman Wilson, this is a two-part approach. So we're also going to look at local businesses, like you talked about, people that do pressure cleaning and yard service and also paint, to actually incorporate into this to be able to help those seniors out. So local businesses to be a part of this. So this is a 55 and older program. As we know, a lot of them are on fixed income. So when it comes to painting their houses, we know how that can become very costly for them. So thank you for your support.
Mr. Mayor.
And also, I just want to just say one other thing. The thing when we look at people who are going to be working, let's make sure that they are small businesses so that they can be, that it will stimulate our economy where our money is turning over in our city. And I want us to look at it in a non-traditional way, not so that if they are, in order to do business with the city, it costs them $250 million to have in life insurance, in insurance that they can't afford. So we need to be able to be just as efficient and just as, innovative in how we engage them as people who can participate in the economy of our city. Thank you.
Mr. Stevens.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, first, let me thank the Vice Mayor for this initiative as well. It's something that's needed. It is something that I believe all of my colleagues would agree with me on. A few weeks ago, or probably sometime last month, along with the PD department, I did a walk-in one-stop in Residential 1 and that Councilwoman Campbell represents the area, and we came across an elderly home that the roof is falling in, it's caving in. So there's definitely a need for that. And to hear, Mr. Manager, tonight that we're going to bring forth a program or something in place that would answer the need to a mass majority than what we are proposing here this evening does my heart well. So again, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, for bringing this initiative forth. And thank you, Mr. Manager, for hearing the concerns of the residents and creating something so that we can ensure, so that the residents know that we're listening to their concerns and we're addressing them accordingly. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other questions from the?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it's not necessarily a question, but a statement. I also appreciate this initiative that the Vice Mayor has brought before us. The only thing that I would try to, or suggest that we consider when we're moving forward in this process is there a dollar amount? Because I think that's kind of a major concern. When we look at our elderly and those people who can't even afford to fix their roof or get their yard cut, it's a reason for that. So is there if we can look at a dollar amount that we can associate with this initiative? I don't know if that's doable, but if we can consider that when we're in the process of moving forward, we're trying to help our residents in doing what they need to do for their homes and keeping everything beautiful in our city.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
the answer to that is yes. There will be a dollar amount attached to the future program.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Mr. Vice Mayor.
And so right now, the way the process will work through Civic Engagement Office, they're going to put out the flyer. And so it'll be on a first come, first served basis. There are some private groups that are looking to actually donate more money to this this item so that we can move forward with getting more residents as we move forward. So what they'll do is they'll fill out the application. If they can't fill out the application, they can call our office and we'll fill it out for them and we'll take it there on a first come, first served basis. We're looking to do up to about 25 people right now.
Any other questions or comments from the dais? I need a motion on the item.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There's no opposition. Show the item passes.
All right, Mr. Mayor, we're on quasi judicial zoning here / Jennings disclosures.
Good evening and welcome to the quasi-judicial portion of the June 9, 2021 City Council meeting. For those persons that will or may be speaking on an item on the agenda or commenting on any item, please stand up and be sworn in by the city clerk. For applicants, your item will be called to order by agenda number and the title of your request. When your item is called, please approach the microphone and when addressed, speak directly and clearly stating your name and address for the record, and explain the reason for your request. Please note that all exhibits presented to the mayor and the city council will become part of the public record.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you provide this evening is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
All right, item 13.1, ordinance is on for first reading and public hearing. Item 13.1.1, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, amending Article 2, Administration, Article 5, Accessory Uses and Structures, Article 10, Accessory Uses and Structures, Article 15, Planned Corridor Development District, PCD and Paren, and Entertainment Overlay District, EO, in paren of the City of Miami Gardens Land Development Code, providing for adoption representation, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, providing an effective date. And this is sponsored by the city manager.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Manager.
just a few comments. First of all, I want to apologize for asking those questions during the presentation by the lobbyists, but it dawned on me that we were talking about the home-based businesses that was in her report, and I thought it was important to bring it up at that time. So I apologize, but this is the item that I was referring to regarding the home-based businesses. She gave an explanation. We understand where we're moving with that, so I don't have a problem with that. The other item in this on this agenda regarding this item deals with a change that we need to make per state statute. We need to put in a changed design review committee instead of what we have now. We work from a public-private partnership development development committee, and we used to have what was called a DRC, which was the Development Review Committee. So per state statute, we have to change that because we have to deal with single-family homes in the future regarding that. The last thing on this item deals with what Councilwoman Stevens talked about, and that was to ensure that when we move forward with our workforce housing, that we are not going to interfere with that going to the second reading. What that does is change our tables in our code and regarding our land uses and what we can do from a workforce housing standpoint. And that moves that along so that we're able to encourage workforce housing throughout the city of Miami Gardens, whether it's private, public, or public partnerships or things of that nature. We can move those items along, and that's what this item is doing for us this evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is public comments on this item, correct?
Yes, sir.
Any public comments? Anyone here for public comments?
We have no in-person public comments, nor do we have anybody registered for Zoom or any written communication on this item, sir.
Show public comments are closed. I need a motion on this item.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded. It's open for questions. Do you have any questions or concerns in reference to this item?
I don't have any questions, Mr. Mayor, but I do want to express my support as it relates to the workforce housing component of this item. When we talk about the moving the city forward and addressing concerns of our residents and individuals who've gone away to college and want to come back to the city of Miami Gardens, this particular initiative will help it. This item will help creating workforce housing. We've done a great job with creating affordable housing and market rate rent, but we have nothing in between. So I just want to express my sincere support behind it and believe that it's definitely a step forward as it relates to continuing and moving our city forward. Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, is this a voice vote or we can,
Oh, it's a roll call vote, sir.
please call the roll?
Councilwoman Gadara,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leon,
Yes.
Councilwoman Julian, Councilman Stevens,
Yes.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson, Mayor Harris.
I vote yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
There are no ordinances on for second public hearing, no resolutions on for public hearing. We're now on to the reports of the city manager, city attorney, and city clerk.
Mr. Manager?
Mr. Mayor, yes, I have some good news. I like Murtha D to give as finance director for the city of Miami Gardens. Thank you.
Go ahead, Rick.
Martha Dezek, Finance Director. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council members. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. On June 1st, the Property Appraiser's Office released their estimates for this year's taxable values. The city once again experienced considerable growth, especially considering the pandemic year we just lived through. Based on the Property Appraiser's estimates, the city grew approximately 6.5% over last year's valuation, placing the city's taxable value close to $5.7 billion. Just a note, this number will change on July 1st when the county certifies the taxable value. Historically, that change is not very significant. It's usually better than their preliminary estimates. And that's my report.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. That's a great report. 6.5% growth.
6.5% growth over last year.
$5.7 billion.
That's correct.
Great report.
And if you tie that into the audit report, obviously, that's, from a fund balance standpoint, you're doing well. You're doing extremely well.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Mr. Mayor, just two other things. One, I want to thank the mayor and council members for the support you gave my family this past weekend.
You're more than welcome.
And lastly, I want to talk a little bit, and I know you passed the item, and I want to thank you for passing the item regarding workforce housing. And I think Councilman Stevens said it the best way is that there are areas in the city that we need to address, and I think the workforce housing will be that particular area that we can now focus in on, because we have focused on market rate, we have focused on the affordability and those types of things, but we haven't met that medium, the medium area that we need to do. The other thing that is important for this is that it will create the opportunities for more mixed use in the city. And again, that mixed use will be on our major corridors. I don't want anyone to think that we're going to be going into our inner residential communities building commercial development. We're not doing that. What we're doing is staying focused on our corridors, and the city attorney will always keep me focused that we should not do that, but we should do what we're doing on our commercial corridors. So based on the workforce housing, based on market rate and those types of things, maybe we get mixtures of the two in a development, and maybe we get other things in the development, but for sure that we're going to be staying on those corridors and making those types of opportunities happen throughout the city of Miami Gardens. I think that legislation that you just passed as an ordinance, but more importantly, the program that you passed on 11.12 that will be supported by the ordinance, I think that moves the city in a very favorable direction when it comes to redevelopment, development in the future. With that, Mr. Mayor, I have anything.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
I don't have a report, Mayor, but I do want to wish all the fathers happy Father's Day. Enjoy your days. You too, Mr.
Thank you.
We'll take that. The dads are sure take that. We'll take that.
No report.
Mr. Clerk?
No report.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes, sir. Mayor, before I go into my report, what we just did tonight as a council and what we have done over the past few weeks and months deserve to be told, you know, and I've received a number of phone calls and emails and concerns from residents about what it is that we're doing wrong and what it is that we're not doing in the city of Miami Gardens. A lot of negative tied to the crime when our crime rate is down in the city of Miami Gardens. When we talk about advancing the economy and providing our residents with life-sustaining resources, that story is not being properly told. And I believe that we need to get that story out to the residents. We have a moral obligation to ensure that the residents of this city has the truth and know the truth about what it is that we're doing here in the city of Miami Gardens. And you know, it's mind-blowing because the work is being done. And when you talk about moving the city forward, it's happening. And the residents need to know it. The residents need to know that the crime rate ended last year in double digits, and that's something that does not happen in a lot of municipalities around the country. They need to know what it is that what the resources that's made available. Our small business program that Councilwoman Julian has diligently been creating, in our higher education initiative that's going forward and providing residents with an opportunity to further their education on a higher level at reduced price to little or none. So yeah, we need to get our story out. In fact, I want to make a motion that directing the city manager's office to launch an aggressive campaign to get this information of what it is that we're doing in the city of Miami Gardens out to the residents. And this campaign may consist of having to bring in some experts that know how to get this information out to the residents. But I believe that we need to launch a campaign to better tell our story and to get this information far as the truth and what it is that we're doing here in the city of Miami Gardens. So I like to make a motion for that.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Short accepted.
Thank you. My report is as follows.
That wasn't your report?
No, that wasn't my that, you know, we definitely, you know, because the city of Miami Gardens, this city is we're doing some great things.
We are.
And even before this council, the past council, the leaders that has come before us has done some great things. You know, the opening with Bunch Park and what the senior family center is, what's getting ready to open there, it's amazing. So I definitely believe wholeheartedly. And Mr. Manager, I'll say it publicly, if I have to assist with leading that effort, I would do so from my experience in marketing and public relations. I'll definitely assist in that area. My report is as follows. This past Thursday, June 3rd, we host a citywide town hall and legislative update meeting at Betty T. Ferguson. I want to thank our police department, public works, code enforcement, parks department for their attendance and providing our residents with the information as it relates to their respective departments. Special thanks to Senator Chevron Jones for providing us updates from the Florida legislators from the past legislative session, as well as Representative Christopher Benjamin. And then this past Saturday, though many of us turn different colors due to the sun, we host a hurricane preparedness giveaway drive-through at Betty T. Ferguson. In partnership with Home Depot and Supreme Roofing, who sponsored the entire drive, we were able to provide, and they also provided volunteers to assist in the efforts. We were able to provide cases of water, first aid kits, flashlights with batteries to over 400 residents in the city. And it was just a beautiful day out at Betty T. Ferguson on Saturday. I must acknowledge again our Public Works Department, PD, and Parks for assisting to make that effort a huge success. On this coming Thursday, June 15th, we'll be hosting a World Elders Abuse Awareness Day Fair at Betty T. Ferguson, starting at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lunch will be provided. I encourage our residents to come out and be a part and get information from the vendors.
Next Thursday.
Say that one more time.
Next Thursday, right?
Next week, Tuesday. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Next week, Tuesday, June 15th. And then in partnership with Miami-Dade College Medical Campus, my office is currently, the city is currently accepting applications for the Miami Gardens Higher Education Initiative, a certificate scholarship program. The scholarship applications can be submitted on the City of Miami Gardens webpage. You can look for the opportunities in which residents can apply for is medical assistant, massage therapy, or phlebotomy certificate programs at Miami-Dade College Medical Campus. Application deadline is Thursday, June 24th at 4 p.m. For more information regarding that, again, you can visit the city's webpage or my social media. And then just a heads up, next month we'll be hosting a Miami-Dade College exposition as well as job fair. We'll be working towards making sure our residents are equipped to go back to school in the coming months. Mr. Mayor, that ends my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Iguodaro?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On May 29th, we hosted the Unmasking the Face of COVID event. It was an amazing event. We're still getting a lot of positive comments from residents who attended, expressing their gratitude to the City of Miami Gardens for allowing them to grieve or to mourn their loved ones. Many of them, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, were not able to do that, as we all know. So that was a wonderful event. I want to thank PD, Parks, Public Affairs. They did an amazing job in pulling everything together. It was an outdoor event. On June 2nd, I hosted our monthly virtual town hall Unity. We had an amazing opportunity. Dr. Angela Brinson Brown spoke about the importance of taking care of mental health. We've gone through a tough time and we're coming out of it, and we had a wonderful attendance. I want to thank her. I know she may be on listening, and her team for giving us an amazing experience on why it's important to take care of our health mentally. On this Saturday, June 12th at 4 p.m., we will honor our seniors with our annual senior prom. You're familiar with that event. The city has been hosting that event for the last 6 years, and I'm excited that we're going to be hosting it again. I want to thank the council for your support for that particular event. I want to thank the city manager and his staff, public affairs, the usual people who put their hearts into making us look good. It's important. The event is themed Safari in the Gardens, and it's a seniors only event, and we're asking them to wear animal print. The event is actually sold out. We had 250 seniors register for the event. We have a wait list. So that's we're gonna have an amazing time. I'm requesting that the council members, if you're available to join us at that event. With that, I'll end my report. Thank you.
Councilwoman, what time is that?
4 p.m.
4 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
And is it a drive-through or?
It's a drive-through event at the new, Bunch Park, correct? So they're gonna come out and enjoy the facility. So it's a drive-through experience from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it's reservation only. So everything is, gonna be good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Julie.
Kudos to my colleagues on the workforce piece this evening. I share all of your sentiments when I say that this is something that is crucial and critical. I'll start again. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kudos to my colleagues this evening for championing workforce development. That is something that is very important when you think about essential service personnel, such as police officers and nurses and teachers and firefighters, right? Those people that are essential, those people that work around the clock, right? But sometimes, just can't really afford to live. And so one thing, Mr. Mayor, I want to add to the workforce piece of it. I know that we're doing mixed use development. Let's also make certain that there's a mixed income component that is included in it so that we can eliminate concentrations of poverty. So if we can do that, I'd be very happy. Roof scams. Roof scams are growing in the city. Last week, Monday, I attended a birthday party for one of my residents who invited me to celebrate her husband's 65th birthday party. And this is somebody that I met, a family that I met during early voting. And, when I went to that party, they said, Councilwoman, someone came by my house and said that they work for the city of Miami Gardens and that they're here to do my roof. Now, he does have a tarp on his roof, and you can tell that the roof is in great need. And he said, are you sure you're with the city? And the person said, yes. This is according to the resident. Yes, I'm with the city. And he said, well, you know what? I'm going to call my councilwoman and I'm going to find out. He said, okay, I'm with the city. I'm with the city. And sure enough, the resident kept all the paperwork that this gentleman provided, the name of the company, etc. So to the residents, if you are listening tonight, if anybody comes to your house and approaches you and says that they're from the city of Miami Gardens, you need to ask them to provide identification, ask for their names, and before you allow them to come into your home or even to have a conversation with you about beautifying your home or helping your roof, you need to call the city, because this is a growing concern and I have an issue with it and it needs to stop before it gets worse. Okay? Grant writing 101. There's a saying that says, if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. A few months back, I sponsored a resolution to assist the small business owners with grant funds. And so the second part of that is to teach them how to write grants. And so I want to thank my colleagues for supporting the grant writing program. It is slated to start June 16th, and it is for Miami Gardens business owners. If you are interested, please contact my analyst, Natalia Ali. We have flyers that are circulating throughout the city's platforms. You can reach my office at 305-622-8000, and her extension is 2407. But I think that you all should take advantage of this as small business owners. It is free. And it is a great opportunity to learn how to write your own grants. There's tons and tons and tons of money out here, but that aren't being accessed because folks don't have those useful skill sets. And I think teaching a person useful skill sets can be more beneficial than constantly having to provide grants and assistance and money to them. And Mr. Mayor, I just want to wish you and all the fathers in this building a very happy Father's Day. And that concludes my report.
Appreciate it. Councilwoman Campbell.
Okay. I want to start off by saying I agree with both my colleagues, Linda Julian and Robert Stevens, as they speak about some of the scams and things that are going on in our city and in other cities as well. And I call all of us, I challenge all of us to, and if there's a way, Mr. Manager and Madam Attorney, if we can create a document where it's a vetted group of people that we know are legit, that we can share with our community and our residents so they know, oh, okay, this person is vetted by the city and they're on the list, so they're legit. And they know that they can operate and do business with them. If there's something that we can add in our process, I'm all for that. And I concur with my colleagues are saying in reference to that matter. Also, fathers, again, I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing. And happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there. Dad, I know you're watching. Happy Father's Day. I love you. You know I'm going to take care of you. Got to put that out there, guys. In addition to that, I do have my town hall that I do every third Tuesday of the month. And my next one will be June 15th at 6:30. It's a Zoom. So tune in. It's valuable information. And it got so good last time. I had to bring her back. She was in demand. So State Rep Felicia Robinson will be joining again and sharing even more valuable information. So tune in. And then There's a big component. We have all experienced COVID with our mental health. I've had others come on and talk about mental health, but I have been affected, and I ask for your prayers for my family. I lost my aunt, who was something that was very near and dear to me. She just passed yesterday. And we're in the process of making the arrangements. So keep me and my family in your prayers. And she suffered from dementia. So that is something that is very on the rise, and we're seeing more and more of it. So I do have a guest that's going to come on and talk about dementia at my town hall. So tune in, and it's going to be some valuable information because we need to know more about that because it's affecting us as African Americans in a lot of ways. And on a good note, I want to remind you guys about the Baja's reunion. Yes, it's still going down. We're going to have a good time. Please visit the website. It's bajasforlife.com, and that's BAHAS, the number 4, LYFE.com, or you can call 305-793-9038 for more details. And we're pretty much at capacity. Everyone must register. If you do not register, just register. Because we have limited space, guys, limited space. So please go to the website and register. And Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report. Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilwoman Wilson.
Next Monday, we will be hosting our final Meet Me Monday that will be virtual. This will be the last one. Beginning in beginning in July, we will start our Meet Me Mondays in person again. And so I'm pretty excited about that coming up and being able to see the residents. One of the things that having our Meet Me Monday virtually has afforded us the opportunity to do is to visit a lot of the local residents, because we were not able to see each other in person. And generally when our families and our constituents came together, we provided a meal. So I decided that in lieu of that, I would give them a voucher. And so many of the residents were given vouchers to go and visit the restaurants that were in our city. And they had a wonderful opportunity and time being able to discover some of the gems that we have in Miami Gardens in terms of our beautiful restaurants and the culinary skills of so many of them here in our city. And so we're going to try to continue that this month. We are going to focus in on the hurricane preparedness. Our city team will be there to discuss with residents the kinds of things that we need to do to prepare for an unpredictable season as it relates to hurricanes. Of course, we know that the climate is changing, and the effect that it could have on us could be detrimental. And the only way that we will survive and overcome is that we prepare ourselves as best as we can. And so this past Saturday, with the councilman being out there, we saw a lot of ready residents who sat in line, got prepared, got materials, got supplies, and our Meet Me Monday is going to be about giving them the same along with additional information. I look forward to having Home Depot. They will be one of our guests, along with, as I said, an impeccable team that will represent the city, so that you'll know exactly what it is that you need to do. And then next week, Saturday on June 19th, we will host our first Juneteenth event. We are excited to report that we've had an overwhelming response from our community. And it will be one of the first events that we will have where our community will come again together. It should be also noted that Juneteenth is a time where really we take a look at democracy, and we take a look at freedom, and we take a look at liberty. And we know that our ancestors, many of us, our ancestors were free and didn't even know that they were free. Their liberty was hidden from them, even though it had been written in the law. And so when we take a look at that liberty, we have a lot to celebrate here in the city of Miami Gardens, because we decided that we wanted to self-govern. And there were some people in this community who were bold enough to try it not just once, but twice. And on the second time, they were successful. They had a vision, and today to hear that a city like ours is worth $5.7 billion is an incredible statement. And I agree along with Councilman Stevens that that story doesn't need to be whispered, but it needs to be shouted to the mountaintops, because that is an impeccable and an incredible accomplishment. And the unfortunate thing about it is that that is not just the largest one. There are so many things that are happening in this city that we ought to be shouting to the mountaintops. Just as loud as you can tell a lie, you ought to shout it louder to tell the truth. And so when we come together on Juneteenth, we want to shout the truth. We want to shout that we are a progressive people. We want to shout that we are people who exercise our democratic right to vote. We want to shout that we are a community that is on the move. We want to shout that all of the talent that you will see that day came from Miami Gardens. That the artists, they come right here, born, bred, right here in Miami Gardens. That their instruments that they will play, that they are citizens and residents, that the culinary food trucks, they will come from Miami Gardens. And so we will take the opportunity to celebrate ourselves and the great work that we are doing, that we have done, and that we will continue to do. So I look forward to seeing you all there. And until then, and one more thing. You know, like, I'm pretty tough, in case you guys don't know, right? But one of the things about working in this city is that when I get in with these men, they remind me not only that I'm a woman, but they remind me that I'm a lady. Because they are some of the best men you ever want to be around. Because not only they are males, but they are gentlemen. And so I want to thank you all for reminding me, not that you deliberately do so, but you are you're well-raised and well-bred men. And I thank you every single day for your intelligence, for your level of professionalism, for the impeccability. And it is even wonderful to see you guys be fathers to your daughters when you bring them around, when you go and you see them at college and you pick them up. It just makes my heart smile, because that's another story that people don't shout to the mountaintops. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I want to know how you gonna top that, Vice Mayor. just say.
Well, real quick.
I ain't gonna never be quick. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Just so you know, June 18th is the last day for vaccines at the Hard Rock Stadium. So they'll be closing down. Our site is still up and running. If you know anybody that needs to get vaccinated, we're doing all 3 shots. You have Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson, and we're also doing COVID testing there now also. Thanks to this council, we've been able to vaccinate thousands of people in the city of Miami Gardens. So just thanks for your support, Mr. Manager, staff, Latavia, Lashara, Onika, everybody, on all the work that we put forth with that. Just so that you know, you heard Ms. Jackson say that the emergency management is no longer running the COVID vaccine sites. So we don't know how much longer that we're going to have these gyms here with us. So it would behoove you to take advantage of it while we still have them. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Councilwoman Campbell, I just wanted to pay my condolences to you and your family, and to remind you that we have a fishing trip this Saturday. We're taking a group of senior citizens fishing. Again, part of our story of things that we are doing in this community. We have sat in these seats and passed great legislation. Tonight was not the first night that we've done so, and it won't be the last. Our stories will be told, and it will be told correctly. Thank you, ladies, for wishing us happy Father's Day. And to all those fathers out there, happy Father's Day to you all. And that's it. I need a motion on this item. I mean, not on the item, but a motion. Been moved and seconded, meeting adjourned. That's the item.